whatever you read in my book, right? Most of the insights, tips, and the kind of stories, scenarios, etc., whichever mentioned in the book are actually real. They you can call it as based on real stories. The day a business analyst stops owning things, nothing will move. That's why I would say he is the real owner of the project. So project manager can be the captain of the project, but the real captain is the BA behind the official captain, which is a project manager.
And so, what kind of real life challenges do we face as BAs?
In my experience, the biggest challenge a BA faces always is
Welcome to the Inside Business Analysis podcast. I'm your host, Tanda Jacobs, and today I'm joined with Jayakishor Bayadi. Jayakishor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really great, and thanks for having me on your podcast.
No, I appreciate that, Jayakishor, and thank you for coming on. Honestly, I'm really excited for our conversation. Jayakishor, you looking at your bio, you've got over 20 years of experience in consulting, delivering IT, business analysis solutions, and ranges from web, 365, CRM, a bunch of platforms, consulting, program management, everything, delivery leader, etc. And all of that kind of experience and knowledge has also led you to author a book.
Yeah, that's right.
Which we're gonna talk about. The book is called The Real Captain, and it's a book for business analysts.
Yes.
And it's a real cool book, and I love that. But before we kind of jump into the book and the message of the book, can you just kind of maybe give us a brief, when you look back over the last 20 years of your career, just kind of a brief key moments that you think have really helped you as a business analyst?
The thing is, when I started my career, right, so I was not a business analyst, basically. So I studied my engineering in mechanical engineering. I did some 3 years of work in the mechanical engineering field, and then I wanted to move into information technology because that fascinated me. But back then I was not a trained computer engineer or something like that. So I was not having a much or a good knowledge about computers, all those stuff. But I acquired the knowledge back then. It's 20 years back I'm talking about. Acquired that knowledge, and I joined one of the the media company where I was responsible for managing their websites, media website back then, Web 2.2, 3.2, the era. And just 11 years back, after 9 years of my starting my journey, I got an opportunity to work for a Dynamics 365 project, which is Dynamics 365 was just evolving back then, and at that moment I actually thought this is where I should be in, because Dynamics 365 is a product and which has a good future, and it is promising, and I will have a focused career as a consultant, business analyst, etc. So so that's where I started my Dynamics 365 journey, and I since then I've been a business analyst, and I have learned about the product. Hence, I became a functional consultant, and as I became a project manager, managing and implementing these Dynamics 365 projects, and over 12 plus projects in this last 11 years, I have implemented, all ranging from 500K to up to 8 million worth of a total TCVs. So large projects spanning across 3 years of implementations I have managed. As a BA, so the main thing I wanted to insist here, that I was always open for opportunities. I was always open for learning, and because of that learning and that kind of resourcefulness, I'm proud to say that I have that resourcefulness character in me. get the things done. So that kind of a character, I was able to get into any role. So I didn't stuck in a business analyst role. My career success today, it is for business analysis. So that is why I began my the sharing of insights on LinkedIn and various other channels, so that I can share my 20 years of insights with the audience. I mean, who are just coming out of college, or just who are becoming business analysts. So that's all the journey, and that's how it all. Yeah, it's a long
Awesome,
answer.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So let's get to the book. The book is called The Real Captain, a
Mhm.
comprehensive book with real world lessons for
Mhm.
aspiring business analysts. What inspired you to write this book? What was it that kind of made you think there's something that you need to share in the form of a book?
The To be honest, the key idea behind writing this book is to share my insights with the audience. Whatever you read in my book, right? Most of the insights, tips, and the kind of stories, scenarios, etc., whichever mentioned in the book, are actually real. They You can call it as based on real stories. Okay, so it is real. So it happened in my career, in my friend's career. I gathered it from various things. I have seen them happening. So I wanted to write a book, or the source where a aspiring business analyst, right, he needs to understand what and all required to be a big business analyst in one single place. And it has to be very simple. Okay. So complication, obviously, I mean, as he get into a project, he will learn and he will improve his skills, all those things. But what are the real basic things, the real insights and practical difficulties, right? As a BA one face. So those aspects I wanted to bring in, and I wanted to have a consolidated source of information, of such information. So that is where the genesis of this book has happened. And thankfully, I mean, many people have appreciated the book, and I mean, it's doing good. I mean, my effort, I'm happy that my effort is paying off. I mean, it is not a million copies sold kind of a book, but it has sold a considerable number of copies. I mean, I was never expecting that this much it will sell. I was thinking, okay, I will write this, and it will be a kind of achievement for myself, my happiness. I will write, and I will put it on Amazon. I mean, if it sells. So that's the attitude I had, and I mean, it's more than my expectation, actually. I mean, to be honest.
No, that's really good,
Yeah.
really good. And I'm happy to hear that, because
Mhm.
as you've said, there are a lot of content information out there around how to do business analysis, but certainly that bit that you're touching on the real life issues from a not just a theoretical perspective of
Mhm.
this is what a user story is, and this is how you write a user story, this is the template of write a user story, and then
Mhm.
this is how you write an acceptance criteria, and it's like, okay, great, now you know.
Mhm.
What you're saying is, okay, you know that, but let's put that in a real world example. How does that fit? How does that work
Mhm.
in a real world project? And I love that message. I'll probably say that's probably the reason why your book has picked up in the way that you didn't realize, because I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are looking for that real truth, openness into the real life of a business analyst, not
Yeah.
necessarily just theoretically what should happen.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah. So the real captain, that's what you've called your book.
Mhm. Yeah.
What's the meaning behind that name?
Uh, See, project manager. I mean, if you see and go and search in the internet, right? I mean, project manager is called as a captain of the project, right? So, a project manager, the key responsibility of a project manager is managing the triple constraints, which is time, scope, and your cost of the project. But while a project manager actually managing those triple constraints, he always works with the business analyst and team. And normally, business analyst is a leader of a team, right? I mean, a development team. I mean, normally in a normal project setting, I'm talking about. I mean, it could be different in a little different, but in a generic setting where developers, business analyst, and a project manager is there, right? I mean, so a project manager is the person who is the single point of contact for any requirements, clarification, anything. I mean, a developer will come to a business analyst, and business analyst will work with stakeholders, and he will act as a bridge. So that's what he does. So he does that activity. He helps to define scope. He helps to define, he estimates sometimes. He helps to uh, uh, you know uh, uh, you know get the requirements right. I mean, the right requirement is the key thing. I mean, if requirements go wrong, then project will go wrong, and the entire blame will not come to a project manager. It will come to a business analyst, if you have observed, because project manager will shout at you, and project manager can manage the cost, time, scope easily, but managing the scope, managing the stakeholder and the developers, I mean, the development team is a Herculean task, and he has to manage that, the his composure, and he has to do that. So in a sense, he owns the entire thing, right? I mean, while he works with the or collaborates with the project manager, he owns the entire stuff. The day a business analyst stops owning things, nothing will move. I mean, you can imagine that. Being a business analyst, one can imagine that. That's why, I mean, I would say he is the real owner of the project. So, I mean, project manager can be the captain of the project, but in essence, he is the owner. I mean, unofficially, I can call him as a real captain of the project. So that way, I mean, I just coined that name as the real captain is the BA behind the official captain, which is a project manager.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I love that, and it's true. I'm not gonna speak too much of my experience in that, but I definitely get that perspective, because, as you've said, if we don't deliver our role, then the project is as good as failed, because
That's
a
true.
big part of what we do is making sure that the project delivers the right thing, the right solution to the right people, or solving the real problem. And hence, to your point, we are technically the real captains, because without that work, the project doesn't really deliver. So in one of your chapters in your book is around the various categories of the business analyst career path, and I wanted to just touch on, or it'd be good to hear your perspective on that a little bit, in terms of how would you advise business analysts and aspiring business analysts to kind of path that career, right? To think about, how do we navigate our careers, and how do we know which path to take?
Yeah. So there are majorly three types of BAs. I have about. I mentioned in the book, actually, and also from a behavior and the delivery perspective, there are two types of BAs. I mean, it's the extension of the BA tasks, which in other roles which I have mentioned. So the three main categories of BA I have mentioned are domain BAs, generic BAs, and technical BAs. I have divided them into three categories because domain BAs. See, for example, a person wants to become a business analyst, right? A business analyst, let's say from the banking sector. Okay, he has a in and out knowledge of how banking works, how payments work. I mean, all those the core domain knowledge. Or a telecom person, right? I mean, how OSS, BSS, I mean, it works, etc. So you have that domain knowledge, right? So you have that domain knowledge. So after working for companies for 10 years, 15 years, you have that good domain knowledge. But what I have seen is that there are the opportunities for domain experts is less in the market. Okay, I mean, there are opportunities. It is a little comparatively less compared to other roles. So people started asking me that, I am expert in this. How can I become a BA? So I said, you become a domain BA. So that means, so there are a lot of banking projects, telecom projects that are happening. They need BAs who know things, how things work in those industries, right? So so that is where, if they want to become a BA, they need to know what exactly the BA does, the BA core skills, right? Requirement gathering workshops, your user stories, process modeling, all those skills, the real BA skills, which can be learned. Which you can learn from someone, or by practicing you can learn. So that is one way who have such domain experience can become a BA. If you have a domain expertise, you have an advantage. See, you can apply for banking projects where your the domain knowledge will be appreciated. So that's why that's one thing, one way of entering becoming a BA. So another one is a generic BA, where a normal developers or any other people who are doing other jobs, right? They will learn all this BA skills, and they can get into a BA role, and they can be part of any projects. They are generic BAs. But when they get into, see, for example, if I'm a generic BA and I'm getting into a banking project, right? So I don't have any domain knowledge, but still in some organization, people accept, okay, so I need a BA to capture requirements and various other tasks. I need a BA. If he is good at BA skills, people accept. But domain knowledge always can be acquired. So I would say, you can acquire knowledge as much as you require for a project, right? So you see, if you're not a banking expert, you cannot become a banking expert overnight. So in what area the project is in, and you can acquire such domain knowledge and become, and over a period of time you can acquire multiple skills, and you can become a generic BA. You are ready to work in any project. So those are generic BAs, and who have a lot of opportunities, because they can work in any others. Even domain BAs can be in within corporate. If they are okay to move to other domains, they also get the opportunities. So in a technical BAs, at this point in time, such roles are non-existent. Such roles are existing, but uh, they are not called as technical BAs. So these are the people who actually work with IT teams, and they bridge the gap between IT team and your business team in a large project setting. So where they understand technicality of the things, see, security requirements, basically non-functional requirements, which we call. So they translate them into a requirement, and they communicate it to business requirements, so that they can understand, and they become bridge there. So, and also from a technical standpoint, they check everything is okay, everything is in compliance, all those stuff. So now such roles are called as technical architects or tech leads. They are not BAs anymore. Especially what that is what as I see now, they are such roles are not it. And so these are the key types of the business analyst. And if you have a product expertise, right? Let's say Salesforce or Dynamics 365. If you have an expertise, you can become a functional consultant, where you know the product, and and you can consult on the product. And from a behavioral standpoint, I have also touched upon is that order taker BA versus a proactive BA, etc. So, how, that's a different topic actually. Order taker BA is, how a customer expects a BA to be, right? See, if I'm a customer, I don't want my BA to take notes, or take requirements as I say, right? He needs to give me some value. See, I want some requirement. I have some set of requirements, and I give it to you. But how do you deliver? How a BA will give me that value? How that BA will make me feel wow is in the hands of BA. So that's why, as a proactive BA, you will take up such requirements, and you proactively understand what is that required for a customer, and what is that value to be delivered to customer, and you are actually work accordingly. So that is from a how you behave, from a behavioral standpoint for a customer. So this is how I have described there in my book. But for an aspiring business analyst, the key three areas where he can concentrate based on his experience is that domain BA. He can enter as a domain BA if he has a domain knowledge. For example, someone who is working in healthcare segment, they can become a healthcare BA. So similarly, generic BA, anyone who is interested learn the skills of business analysis, and they can start searching for the opportunities. So that's how.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you for that breakdown and the three categorizations. I think it definitely makes it easier to plan more strategically in terms of how you're going to make the transition. And for instance, if there is somebody listening to this and they do have that healthcare experience, that transition doesn't feel as scary if they're going to focus on becoming a healthcare focused business analyst, at least to begin with.
Yes.
They can always pivot over time, but
Yes.
at least to begin with, that's a good transition. Okay. So now let's get into like the real life examples that you touch on in your book. So the first one that I thought about is the fact that, typically speaking, on projects we are working on a hybrid environment, and by hybrid I'm talking about like it's in between waterfall and agile. It's somewhere in between the two. Sure, there are places that do agile 100% really well, or they do something along the Scrum or anything like that, but the majority of places are somewhere in the middle for various different reasons. How would you recommend that we as business analysts successfully navigate ourselves in this hybrid environment where it's not exactly waterfall, but it's not also 100% agile?
See, based on my experience, right? Most of the customers want is that their project to be executed, without much noise or kind of a difficulty, right? So that's what ultimately a customer wants. So waterfall is a old in the sense it began in the industrial era. Industrial revolution era, where sequential way of delivering things. Basically it started off as a for a construction industry. This waterfall was actually built. If I'm correct. So coming back to the point where customer wants a noise-free project without much friction, without much the stuff. My thing have to be delivered. So a BA who is having any one of the experience, whether he has a waterfall experience or a agile experience, right? BA needs to be always creative in that, right? So see, in many customers, what happens is that because of the complex nature of the project or the large project, right? Who have 100, 200 people in a project. Sometimes, the managing agile teams becomes difficult. So in such in such cases, you need to understand, or customers find it difficult to adopt certain principles of agile or maybe waterfall. Okay, so that is why a customer want I want to have a product every 6 months. I want an update every 3 months. I want to see the progress, or every week I need to see the progress. That way the customer gives that expectation. But as a BA, right, you need to think creatively. How I can adopt the best principles of agile and waterfall to deliver my things. Because if you have a feedback early in the game, right, you will become your chances of delivering a successful product is high. So that is the given fact. So you need to understand, you need to work with the stakeholders, how their schedule is arranged, how much bandwidth they have to support this particular project, and accordingly you can actually build your own process. So that is what hybrid is. I mean, so you can adopt. So let's say, I mean, in pure agile, you know how it works, sprints, etc. But in if you implement this sprint scenario into a waterfall, you will have every month. Let's say in 1 month we will build one piece of work. Let's say one iteration we can call, whether it's a sprint or regular. You can internally decide whether you want to have a daily call, you have a Scrum events, etc. You can decide. However, but every 1 month you have a show and tell session with the customer, and you give him the a progress, you giving the a feel of a product, right? So that way, customer understands, what is being developed, and whether the development is happening in the right way or not. So you let have that. If you implement pure waterfall, you get the requirement in the first month, and after 6 months or 1 year you will release the product. So such a huge gap is not advisable at this point in time, because in 6 months to 1 year time, the entire business model would have been changed. So you have to make customers understand that, they have to participate in the project, and they have to give us the feedback. If their work, if they because customers also ultimately humans, they have their responsibilities. So they have to make time in between their day-to-day responsibilities to work on this particular project. In many cases that is the case. So you have to, like I said, you have to understand their bandwidth and build your own process. Ultimately, that is how, I mean, you have to involve the customer wherever it is required to deliver the real value to the product. Okay, so, and I would say, I mean, see, this process war, which I can see, right? I mean, with agile principle, this is not, I mean, stop that. I mean, I also write about agile. I also write about waterfall. I also talk about the hybrid, all those stuff. But ultimately, what my opinion is that ultimately, if you're able to deliver value to your customer, so that is, if you are if you are if you have fulfilled a need, or if you have made your customer's life easy, that's the value. Okay, so you can deliver the thing, you can tick mark that, okay, this requirement is delivered. But that requirement, or whatever the functionality you have delivered, whether it is really usable, which has helped customer to improve the productivity, or any tangible benefits it has received, that customer has to tell. So that is the real value. So ultimate, as long as you are delivering the value, I would say, whether it's a hybrid, waterfall, or agile, I mean, as a BA, I will not worry. Obviously, I will understand as a Scrum as a process. I will get the certification I wanted. I want to, because some customers want pure agile, pure Scrum to be implemented. So nothing wrong in it. But in such scenarios where they want hybrid scenario, right? So you don't have to worry about the processes. You have to be creative. You have to think about how I can make my customer's life easy by delivering the value. So that's what my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. You know, the focus is on value, on delivering value, not necessarily on methodology. Albeit the methodology matters because it almost governs how we work, how we approach meetings, and how we approach the delivery of the project. But if we focus more on the value being delivered
Mhm.
and making sure that at the end of it we are delivering value, that's a very, very insightful thought there. Okay, so another thing that you do touch on in your book, and I'm curious, I'd love to get into this, is because is around AI,
Mhm.
and it's a hot topic right now. Everybody has either come across it, some use it, some a bit nervous, but you touch in your book around how us as business analysts can use AI.
Mhm.
Can you maybe just kind of give some insight into what our listeners can try and do? One or two things that we can do with AI as business analysts.
there are thousands of tools that has come into the market nowadays. I mean, every day if you go to LinkedIn, you can see thousands of AI apps. This helped me. This, you can use. But where this AI will go, no one knows, right? But see, I have seen many AI tools predominantly released from prominent companies like Microsoft and some other startups, etc. Those tools can be helpful for BAs. See, but before that, I would like to touch upon a point that the responsible AI and data privacy. See, you can use your free version of ChatGPT or a paid version of ChatGPT. Okay, so that is your personal thing. But if you're using such personal tools or public tools, right, and you're giving the sharing the data to that such tools, right? I mean, your customer data, sensitive data, your the processes, everything, that is going to be a huge problem. So as a BA, we need to make sure that data privacy compliance is maintained. We are not sharing any customer data, any customer processes to the outside world, to any tools, and also responsible AI. So we are not, violating any compliance. So by considering keeping this in mind, when you have a organizational purchased AI products, maybe nowadays Jira tool itself has a AI assistant, to rewrite your use cases, all those stuff. It will ask, rewrite the use case using AI. So such tools are compliant, right? I mean, your data will remain within your corporate network. So you have to use such tools, right? So these things we need to keep in mind, and uh, and uh, and unfortunately, I got some of the organizational purchased AI tools, so I was able to explore some of the things for the AI. So the most thing, the most used feature by me is that the flow diagram creation, right? So when these projects, where I have worked, I had to create some 10, 15 process flow diagrams, use case diagrams, etc., right? It takes a lot of time. Okay, so I have had a workshop, and after a workshop, to get it reviewed by the customer, I need to create it in a overnight, next day if I have a workshop, etc. So what I do is that I will outline the major steps of such a process, and I will use the AI tool to create kind of a high level process flow map for me. For example, in ChatGPT, it cannot create your your process flow diagram. In ChatGPT, you just give the process steps, and it will give it can generate a code, a mermaid code, you can call it as, okay, for that particular process code, and use that mermaid code in your draw.io or any other the process drawing tools, and it will create a first draft of your process flow diagram within 5 minutes. Okay, otherwise this to create such a huge process flow, let's say from lead to order or lead to cash for a CRM or ERP, right? And it would have take at least 2 hours. I have a first step in 5 to 10 minutes maximum, and then I can start working on it, for refinement. So within 1 hour, I can have the good process flow diagram ready, which is saying almost at least 40 to 50% of my time, and it gives me an immense time saving. The stress is relieved. Okay, so only thing is I have to define steps like first lead, then opportunity, then quote, then if yes, no conditions, all those stuff. While, see, in some cases what happens that while you defining the steps, some the confidential steps also will be there in the process flow for organizations, especially for financial organizations that are confidentially how they can take care. So such confidential details you should not give it to AI tools if they are public AI tools. Those things you can include when you are in the refining phase. So that's how have been using the AI tools for my benefit, and also use case refinement, and the mind map generation, and also research for your workshops. For example, I have a set agenda for tomorrow's workshop. So suggest me some questions. See, AI cannot suggest you 100% true questions. So it will lack 100% context. It will never get 100% context even if you give, because it's a tool. At the end of the day, it is the tool. So you will get some 60 to 70% of the context, and you will get some 50% questions. So your thought, you don't have a blank paper in front of you, right? You have some 10 questions it listed by the AI, and you can, then your creative juices starts flowing. So instead of thinking what can I ask, or referring the old such projects, right, you can just edit them. So that's where it's a time saving. I use AI for time saving and also productivity enhancements. So at this point in time, AI help me to save some good amount of time, and I also practice responsible AI, and make sure that I don't give customer data, or any data privacy policies are in compliance. Yeah.
I think it's I love the positive approach to it, which it's use AI. Be aware of all the scary stuff and all the data privacy stuff and all that kind of stuff, but still use it because the benefit of that, if you do want to benefit, kind of to map the benefit of using AI, it is that it will save you a lot of time. But not only that, really the benefit is you can deliver value at a much faster pace as a business analyst on the projects you're working
true.
on. That's the benefit, isn't it? It's not necessarily just about saving time. It's actually that at the end of it, the customers, the project teams, and we can deliver at a much faster pace and actually move forward quicker than waiting on manual tasks. So that's really good. Okay, and then you also have another chapter that I did want to touch on before we close, around challenges, and this is that challenges that business analysts face. And I think this is really key because obviously coming back to when you were talking about the main essence of your book, the main message is that real life issues, and so what kind of real life challenges do we face as BAs, and how do we overcome them? Can you maybe share one of the toughest challenges that you think all BAs will face, and new BAs should kind of brace themselves to face, and then maybe kind of shed some insight into how we can navigate ourselves through the challenge?
Yeah. In my experience, the biggest challenge a BA faces always is stakeholder management. See, BA skills, this use case generation requirements, I mean, all those, whatever the activity you do you do as part of your duty, you can do, right? But you have to involve and get the things from the stakeholders. See, you are responsible for your requirements. You have to get the things done. So you are owning the things. If something goes wrong tomorrow, BA will be blamed. Okay, because this is the experience I had. Okay, so stakeholders, in every project, you will get variety of stakeholders. Okay, so there will be non-cooperative stakeholders. Okay, so who will not cooperate with you for requirement gathering? They will just, for the sake of it, they will share some documents and ask us to, use this document and refer this. You will find it and you can use it for requirements. So that's not the way. So you have to navigate through such people as well. I mean, you need to understand them, why people are acting like that, and you need to be empathetic that the people are behaving in such a way for a reason. Okay, so if this project comes into place, will my job is safe? Will it take away my the responsibilities? So this change is pain. Okay, so nobody wants to change, or nobody wants to embrace change so easily. So you need to understand as a BA, and you need to understand the reason and make them understand, how this project is beneficial for you if this project becomes successful. So your support is very crucial. Okay, obviously, I mean, once such exercise happen, still people are not cooperating because of political reasons or any other reasons. You need to take a management route, escalation route, etc. I mean, that's a different ballgame altogether. So that's a non-cooperative stakeholders. Second, stakeholders are, with the diverse interests and priorities. They have their own interest. They want something to be done in their own way. Okay, so and another stakeholder wants it in his own way, right? I mean, they don't understand business vision. Okay, so that is another challenge. See, you can, and they will threaten you to, we will escalate, we will talk to management. Okay, so but we want this has to be done in this way. You do whatever you want, we want in this way. So this is how, some stakeholders act actually, because they really don't understand, they are not aligned with the business vision of the project. So as a business analyst, it's our responsibility to, communicate the, the business vision, and we need to prioritize the real business needs rather than these personal needs. So to make this happen, a BA needs to take steps, whatever that is required. And the third one is, I would say, the challenge in this stakeholder management is poor communication management, right? I mean, you are sending the communication, you are involving everyone in every aspects. You don't know, and people get confused. Okay, so you should do a proper stakeholder mapping and analysis in the beginning of the project itself, so that who is influential, who needs to be involved for what, everything you should know. So and accordingly you need to involve only required people in a communication, and it has to be crisp and clear. And that way, everyone will needs to be informed about the progress of the project at the end. So if you don't manage this communication poorly, and people will get confused, and they will raise several questions in several meetings, and it is, I mean, it's a mess, it will ultimately becomes. So if you don't manage this communication planning properly, that will become a challenge. So the third one is, see, when you as a BA, there should be some personality, right? I mean, you should be resourcefulness, you should be patience, you should be willing to help. That mindset of BA is not like any other role. I mean, it's always, working with people. It's empathetic with people, etc. So it's a different set of role. You need to understand people. So when such a personality trait is absent or little less in a particular person or a BA, so then conflict with stakeholders will arise. So BA will start fighting with the stakeholders. So so that happens. So that will take a project into a different way. So there should not be any ego with the ego. Ultimately, the stakeholders are the people who are going to use your system. So ultimately, you have to deliver things for them and make their life easy. That's our motto. So that is what a BA has to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean, these are the key things I would think of as a challenge that every BA will face in terms of stakeholders, and stakeholder management and meeting their expectation itself is one of the biggest challenges for a BA. And if he's successful in managing this, I mean, your project is half done. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's I will echo that. It's definitely one of the hardest challenges. But I love the fact that you broke it down into the types of challenges and not just kind of one thing. So thank you for doing that. Jayakishor, this has been a very, very insightful conversation. Your experience definitely shined through your answers there, and I can see, why you felt that you had to write your book, because there is a lot of insights and wisdom that you're carrying, and it's really great that you're able to package that in a book. So before we kind of bring it to a close, can you? I'll put the links in the show notes and the description of this discussion, so people can go out and buy your book. The book is called The Real Captain, a comprehensive book with real world lessons for aspiring business analysts. So I will definitely put that in the show notes for you to be able to buy it. And if people would like to connect with you, Jayakishor, I'm assuming LinkedIn is the best place
definitely
for that.
people can connect with me, and I'm more than happy to help people if they have any questions on how they can navigate their business analyst career, and any advice. I'd be happy to, and I'm really grateful that you're putting that link on this YouTube description. I'm grateful for that.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. And it's been a really great conversation. And certainly, if you want to learn more, go get the book.
Yeah.
My final question for you, Jayakishor, is when you looking back to that process of writing the book, what was kind of like one key takeaway that you learned from that whole experience of writing the book?
It's exhausting. Okay, so because you see, the thing is, you need to do the lot of research, what you need to communicate communicate in the book, right? So there are so many books, so many IIBA materials, so many videos, so many blogs about BA. Everything is out there. I mean, what should I write? I mean, why should I write is what my question, everyday questions. When I'm writing this thing, what is I mean, every day I was feeling, what is that thing, something, what is that really interesting thing in this, right? So then I mean, over a period of time when I wrote, I mean, which obviously along with my work, it took around 1.5 years to write that entire book. There are places where I actually lost interest. Okay, I took a break of 1 month. Okay, but there is one book, right? Just finish whatever you start. Right? I mean, there is one book written by someone. So I just followed that line. So I wanted to finish it, and I finished it. And what I learned is that, see, experiences are different for everyone. The topic may be same. See, the stakeholder management topic may be the same. It's a generic topic. You have to do this, do that. But sharing my experience, scenarios, right? So that is what makes it a different. I convey things in a certain perspective. Same, you convey your experience in a different perspective. So when these perspectives, when you understand, right, it's like a real learning. If you understand few situations of real life situations from someone, in projects, something like this will happen, it will be beneficial for you. You'll try to not make such mistakes, or or get into such scenarios itself. So that is what I learned. So whenever you write a book, or whatever you do, so my experience is main thing, because it is not same as anyone else's experience. So when two people talk about the same topic, there will be a difference, there will be a different perspectives, and it cannot be same at all. So that's the biggest lesson I have learned while writing the book. So I mean, my advice, or my insight for anyone who is writing a book, or who is doing a YouTube, there are so many things, similar things there might be there, but when you have your own perspective, it is unique, right? So make it that unique. So when it is unique, it echoes with people, and you'll be successful eventually. So that's what.
Love that. No, thank you for sharing that. And after 18 months, you said about 18 months to 2 years of you writing that book. Congratulations on definitely getting it published, and definitely appreciate you putting out your wisdom in the format of a book so that people can tap into that. So again, we'll put the link in the show notes in the description. Jayakishor, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it and also really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom with us today. And, I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and all the best for your, the podcast journey. Let it become one of the most watched, podcasts in the area of business analysis or any space you want to be in. Good luck and all the best.